breaking barriers and bridging the gaps between patients and doctors. Welcome to Brainstorming with the Docs and your co-hosts, Dr. Glenn Harrison and Dr. Kolby Condos.
All right, everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Brainstorming with the Docs. I'm Dr. Kolby Condos, my co-host and co-conspirator, Dr. Glenn Harrison. What's up, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. How are you this fine evening?
I'm doing well. I am actually pretty excited about this because we had a lot of engagement in this topic last time we released one like this. And today we're going to be talking about what your day looks like, what your life looks like, a day in the life of Dr. Glenn Harrison. So if this is your first time watching or tuning in and you feel like you got value or good information out of this podcast or video cast after it's all said and done, please hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going to continue to roll out new content each and every week. And you never know when we might come out with something that's applicable to you. So, a day in the life of Dr. Glenn. So you wake up this morning around what?
Today was usually my normal, about 5:30. So today was 5:30. And I had a business meeting. Every Tuesday morning, I have a business meeting with a group of professionals, multiple different fields, where we talk business and strategy and mentor each other, which is really helpful. So that was that ran me till almost noon. Almost noon we were there. And then I raced back. And of course, I had to go to the clinic because there was a bunch of people waiting. So I raced back home and grabbed my sidekick Border, the Australian Shepherd. Yep. He was waiting by the door. He knew that it was
patiently. He's like, I'm ready.
He's ready. So had his little vest ready and his leash and load him up in the car and headed to the clinic for our first patient. I think it was at 10, something like that.
Okay. So what would you we talk about all the time, some of the hidden stuff that people don't see in our day-to-day lives. What time would you say you got done yesterday?
Yeah, good question. It was, I think I got out of the clinic. It was around 6:30. And then I came home. Luckily, I always have food cooked because there's no time to cook. So Border, my sidekick, and myself got back and had food ready and ate quickly. And then, there's this course I'm working on that is helping me battle through some really, really difficult cases right now. And a particular case, it came in. So I was studying this course to have a better insight of this particular case that came in today. So, I studied the course and then I reviewed that one, 4 files, but that file particularly for another hour. So it was kind of behind the scenes, like you say, that it ran till about 10:30, and I was probably a little later than I should have, because then I was thinking of the stuff at 5:30 this morning. So, yeah. So
that's like a common theme, and I think it's across all professions. It's not unique to ours. Is that everyone thinks like, oh, it's a easy 9-to-5 job as a banker, or easy this to this time as a contractor. But that's only a small piece of the puzzle, especially when you're self-employed like we are. There's always behind the scenes stuff, or there's stuff in the evening.
It is true. And you and I both have, we both have another life, if we will. You work in the oil sector. I was working in the mining sector. We both did that to pay for school. And I constantly reflect, and I know it would kick my butt if I ever had to go back to the mining industry. But when we were running 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for, 4 weeks to 12-week contracts without a day off, you were tired at the end of the day, but it was done. It was absolutely done. And there wasn't this emotional challenge, if you will, dealing with chronic health issues. It was just steel and iron. And as long as you didn't get hurt and you didn't kill the guys at the end of shift and they didn't kill you, it was a good day, and you could sleep like a baby at night.
Yep. And then it was over. That was it. Yep. Yeah. You didn't take any of the problems home with you. As soon as they were over, as soon as the shift was over, it was done.
Now it's different. Now it's an emotional challenge. I think it's a mental hurdle. And I know you have colleagues, and both of us, that it's one thing to care for people every day and try to help them navigate through the path, but then it's another thing to not let the emotional weight of working with chronic illness destroy us. And that's a very hard thing that I never knew in clinic. I never knew
Yeah, I
going
think
through
it's something,
school.
yeah, even when you decided, or when I decided, I guess, I'm sure it was the same with you when you decided, like, this is what I wanted to do. I didn't necessarily fully understand how involved it was going to be for me. It's not like you do your job, you come home, and that's it. Like, in fact, I just walked upstairs to get a glass of water, and I told my wife, hey, we need to put a supplement order in because we're out of this and this and this and this. And we're going to have patients that are coming up that need this and this and this. So tonight, before we go to bed, we need to make sure we put this order in so it gets, processed first thing in the morning and shipped out. And that's even a part that it's like over and over and over again. That's not like something where, oh, I'll do it once a month and it'll be over, because you never really know what you're going to need
That's
until you
right.
need it. So
And it's a good indicator of the subconscious is still firing, even when you're at home amongst your family. So I think maybe one of the biggest challenges is to shut that stuff off. So I guess that was that was my last night, and then today I was in the middle of cases and some pretty tough ones, some significantly burdensome ones. I had a few appointments via video. So I worked from home for a couple hours today, these clinic hours from home via video. And then I was in the clinic till, I don't know, I think it was 6:30 again, actually, just before we came on to record.
Mm-hmm.
So inhaled some food, had food cooked, of course, as always. There's no way I could cook every day. It'd be absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
And Borders running around the yard chasing squirrels right now. I can hear him barking. So yeah, he's detoxing as well. He's emotionally detoxing.
So other than the constant behind the scenes stuff, what would you say like the one hardest part about your job is, if someone were to ask you that?
I think it's changed, of course. I think years ago, the hardest part of my job was not having an answer for a health problem. I think now I'm more comfortable at not having an answer. So I think now maybe the hardest part of my job is reading paperwork. And this is the hardest part of my job. Now you're bringing it out. It's pretty heavy. Where I have a question on my paperwork, and it's one of many questions, 24 pages of paperwork, to start, to get the information to look at their case. And there's one question in it that is designed to get people to reflect on the direction of their health. We forget this, right? With chronic illness, you understand this. And it says, where do you expect to be if this problem is not taken care of? Where do you expect to be in the next 3 years if this health problem is not corrected? And I get at least 2 or 3 of these reports back a month that say, if this doesn't get corrected, if this doesn't improve in the next 3 years, I will die, or I will be 6 feet under, or I won't be alive. That's the toughest for me, I would say.
That's really heavy, because it really just shows you how desperate some people are.
Mm-hmm.
And the hard thing about that would be not only, I mean, that's a lot of burden you've put on yourself.
Well, yeah.
But then, because obviously you want to do a good job for them, but not taking that home and letting that affect your life continuously, which I think that a lot of us in healthcare tend to let that happen.
It does. And when I don't see a face beside that report, that file, and I'm going to plug through, but it doesn't matter how many of these cases you work on, you don't get that numb with it. You know that it's so catastrophic that there's going to be a whole bunch of emotional burden, and what else is going on in this person's life? How many years did they miss out on life? And if they've been through the mill of 10, 15, 20, 30 doctors, 10, 20, 30 years, what shape is the rest of their life when they're coming in? Yeah. There's been times, and maybe you've had this too, where I get through part way of my paperwork and it's just so much. And I never used to do this. So maybe I'm getting a little bit more self-intelligent or self-aware, where I actually have to get up and step out, whether at my home office, and I go out inside and throw the ball for border a little bit right in the middle of my paperwork. Or if I'm in the office, I have to step out because it's just too much. And you got enough reports like that back to back in a day, it will eat you down. And I think if it doesn't wear you down, that means that
Yeah, if you become indifferent to that, then that's probably a bad sign, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. Mhm.
So,
Yeah. That's a tough
was there,
question.
yeah. Is there
Yeah.
anything else? Well, I guess you gave us a rundown pretty good on your
Yeah,
day.
that was today. That was today. Tomorrow's going to be probably a little bit more interesting. I'll probably spend more or all of the day at the clinic. There's more examinations. There's someone flying in tomorrow. Hopefully their flight will make it for their appointment. I think they're actually coming in tonight for tomorrow. They're from out of state. So that'll be interesting. Well, hopefully their travel arrangements work with that. Sometimes when people fly in, there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress because they're flying in and arrangements, and we really need them to be in a relatively calm place so we can ask the proper questions and truly understand what their normal is versus them being in an anxious state. So hopefully Border will help with that. He's kind of the all-star in that clinic. So
There you go.
so that's part of tomorrow. A few physical examinations. I think my day will probably start the same. I don't have a business meeting tomorrow, but I'll work on cases before I go into clinic.
Yep.
And then if I have any windows in the middle of clinic, I'll work on those. And then my evening will be back to studying and probably working on more cases. So yeah, hopefully I can take a little break this weekend. I find sometimes I fall out of that. And I've actually learned from you, Dr. Kolby, of your willingness to take breaks. And I think it helps when you have a couple little ones.
Yeah, you have to, right?
Yeah. So,
well, I hope I speak for everybody, especially everyone listening. I definitely appreciate your commitment to the profession and to your patients. So
thank you.
I hope that all of you listening found value out of this podcast. And again, if you did, please hit like and subscribe and turn on notifications and share this with anyone that you feel like might enjoy it. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you'd just like us to cover a health topic or something, you can get a hold of us at info@brainstormingwiththedocs.com. You can find information on our websites. Mine is northlakeschiropractic.com. Dr. Glenn's is drgharrison.com. And stay tuned because we're going to continue to roll out new content each and every week.
That's great, Dr. Kolby. Thank you for the interview.
Till next time.
Will do. Bye-bye.